Hello everyone, welcome back to 1.91 News with Bacon, where today we're going to be taking a look at the official announcement for Tier 7 helicopters in War Thunder. Of course, about a week ago when we got our Lynx dev blog and there was a Tier 6 Premium G Lynx variant, I did speculate that we would be getting Tier 7 helis either this update or at some point in the near future, and just over a week later, here they are. Of course, starting off with a nice show of the Eurocopter Tiger family of attack helicopters that will be topping out both the French and the German helicopter trees, as well as having a Tier 6 premium variant for the French. Now, what are the variants we're going to be seeing? Now, the premium variant is the Tiger HAP or HAP. This is a French Tier 6 premium. Obviously, it is a bundle pack on the Gaijin store. What kind of weapons you got? Well, as you can see, you have a very nice 30mm turret in the nose, mounted under the nose, as you can see. Unguided rocket pods, AGM Hot 3s, actually. So, obviously, on the Gazelles, we have the Hot 1 and the Hot 2 ATGM. On this, we have the Hot 3. It's quite a bit more powerful. From what I can gather, it has about 1000 mil of pen, and can also go through ERA quite effectively. So that's going to be a pretty good ATGM, and it also has Mistral air-to-air missiles, which obviously are also on the Gazelles, and are generally quite effective, although every so often they can get a bit buggy and decide just not to go for a target, but for the most part they're pretty damn decent air-to-air missiles. Now, the French also, of course, have a tech tree version. This is the Tiger HAD, or HAD, Tier 7 normal tech tree helicopter, effectively. It is, though, by the looks of it, exactly the same as the premium. The only major difference I can tell is that it can also take Hellfires. So, obviously, you get the 30mm turret, you get the unguided rockets, Hot 3 ATGMs, Mistral air-to-air missiles, but you also have Hellfires. I do not have much experience with Hellfires. I've played them very briefly on the AH-1Z Viper when I had that on test drive a while back. From what I can remember, when I did play them, they did have some issues. They weren't the most effective. They were kind of buggy. Maybe guys should have fixed that by now, but if they haven't, you know, we're getting a few helis, the Lynx, the Tiger now, that have Hellfires. They're coming along this update, so hopefully if there are still issues, Gaijin will get around to fixing them. Now, we also have the German variant. This is the Tiger UHT, Tier 7 German tech tree vehicle, so it's not a premium. What do we get on this? Well, 70mm unguided rockets, machine gun pods. They're quite important. As you can see when you look at a picture of this thing, it does not have the turreted 30mm that is on both of the French variants. It has no actual fixed gun. So those gun pods, depending on the armament preset, if you can have them with the air-to-air missiles or with the ATGMs, I would generally say it's probably a safe bet to take those gun pods, especially in heli mode. If you get up close to someone, ATGMs especially don't become the most effective, as it can be kind of tricky to guide an ATGM at much closer ranges. One distinct difference with the German one, something that at least in heli mode, and possibly also in ground battles from time to time, will be very useful in distinguishing it as the German one, is the optic positioning. The optics are above the rotor, as you can see. Basically, you just got the optics sticking up above the rotor. Looks like it's just been stabbed in there. And, you know, that's a good way to distinguish it from the French variant. Both of the French variants, the HAD and the HAP, do not actually have the optics up there. So that could be another good way to distinguish the German variant. Now, what else do we have? So we've got the gun pods, we've got the unguided rockets, Hot 3 ATGMs again. From what I can tell, obviously the Hot ATGM was built by Euromissile. It's the Euromissile Hot. So if it seems to be fairly logical, it would be on the Eurocopter Tiger. Now, it also has Stingers. Of course, we know about these a little bit. These are also on the Lynx as air-to-air missiles. More or less, not the performance isn't the same, but they're very comparable to the Mistrals. But then this also gets the PARS 3 LR missile. I did some research into this. In real life, it has a range of 7 kilometers. A bit more than some other missiles, but it's not too bad. It's basically just a slightly more advanced air-to-air missile. Of course, I haven't done much research into this, but 7-kilometer range, it seems fairly comparable to some of the bigger missiles, such as the R60s, although from my experience with the R60s, they take a while to lock, so we will just have to wait till the dev server to see just how these missiles perform. It is worth mentioning in post, though, that after some more research into the PARS 3 LR, it is actually can be used basically against air or ground targets. So you can actually use it for anything, and after reading through the devlog a bit more, Gaijin have said that they are going to be doing some things with it to make it a bit less effective, as it might be a little bit overpowered. For example, it will not be able to have a volley fire feature, and will also not be fire and forget. So they're going to do an algorithm effectively where the missile will have semi-active homing capabilities and the ability to attack from the upper hemisphere of the target. Getting into the performance of the helicopter, from what I can tell, all of these have the exact same engine. They have 2 turboshaft engines, each generating 1,303 horsepower, and this allows it to reach a top speed of 278 kilometers per hour in level flight, which isn't too bad, at least when compared to other helicopters in the game. It's fairly average, it's not too bad. Obviously the Lynxes are on the whole faster, but this is pretty good. This is on par with the Hinds, those kind of things. So really not too bad for this helicopter. It's fairly quick. You have pretty devastating weaponry. The Mistrals are great. The Hot 3s, especially against tanks, are going to be very, very deadly. So this is going to be pretty good. Obviously, other nations' Tier 7 helis, we got the Lynx. And now that Tier 7 helis are confirmed, and we have some, and it says these are among the first Tier 7 helis, what else could we get? Well, to briefly throw this off, for the Russians, I'm expecting the Mi-28, although I would personally, my personal preference would be to prefer the Kar-50 or the Kar-52, just because I personally prefer them. But the Mi-28 seems the most likely, going with this sort of gunship, sort of Tier 7 heli type of thing. The Apache, yeah, that seems likely. I wouldn't be surprised if the Americans get a version of the AH-64. And for the premium, you know, we got a premium Tiger. We got a premium Eurocopter Tiger. So there's a possibility the Americans get a premium early version of the Apache, but I think it might be more likely that they could go with the YAH-64, which is the prototype for the Apache. Then again, that helicopter, the YAH-64, could not actually carry air-to-air missiles, so perhaps an earlier version of the Apache that would be a better premium to be on par with these other premium helicopters, such as G-Lynx and the Eurocopter Tiger HAP, which do have air-to-air missiles, as well as ATGMs, guns, all that kind of stuff. Same thing for the Russians as well. A possibility of a premium Mi-28, it's a possibility. Some other things to throw off are the prototype for the Kar-50, which I'll throw on screen now. Can't remember the exact name. I think it was just the Kar-52 or something, but I can't remember the exact name, but it will be up on screen. But also the Super Hind, modern upgrade of the Mi-24. The Super Hind 5 seems, you know, that's the one I would prefer to have. But then again, it appears here that Gaijin are going from more of a copy and paste standpoint, with G-Lynx being very similar in terms of the model to the standard Lynx, and the Eurocopter Tiger being practically identical to the tech tree variant. So we'll just have to wait and see, but I'm sure they won't shy away from releasing more premium bundles, as, you know, these are likely to make them a fair amount of money. Anyway, that's that. Tier 7 helis, personally very happy with this. You know, I really do enjoy playing helis. I play Heli EC quite a bit, and at least recently I've been playing it more than any other game mode. And I've almost finished grinding out the Russians as well. So I finished the French, so now I can get the Tiger. Almost finished the Russians, so hopefully we get something nice for them. And when the British come out, hopefully they get a Tier 7 heli too, and I can go and get that tech tree done as well. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy, please consider smashing the like button, maybe even subscribe to the channel. If you do, that would be very much appreciated. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next one.